Welcome back. This is the day after opening night at Jamaica Jazz and Blues Festival 2014. And as reported in our previous segment, it was a fantastic night for Marcia Griffiths, who used the occasion to launch her 50th anniversary celebration and is in our presence right now, right here at the Royalton White Sands. Marcia.
Hey, Winford.
So nice to have you. Good to have you.
Same
Thanks
here.
for coming and to give us a chat. A triumphant launch, we are saying. How do you call it?
Well, you have described it right.
Yeah.
It was triumphant and I enjoyed every moment. I feel truly blessed.
And the audience could not get enough of it. It was over what, 75, 80 minutes?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
All right, tell us a little about how you decided who would be the friends for this particular performance.
Well, first of all, it wasn't easy to decide, you know, which of the friends to pick
Yes, of
because
the thousands of friends that you have
I have 50
in the music
friends,
industry.
50 friends that I've shared and done collaborations with on the journey.
Yes.
So it wasn't easy picking the few. But we wanted to just do it like a preview of what is to come and something more compact, you know?
Yes.
So we decided that we would touch in the decades, like Tony Gregory represents the decade of the 60s.
The first decade of
Right,
your
the
career.
first decade of my career. And people hardly ever see Tony Gregory.
Oh, yes.
And he's a fantastic performer, as you saw last
He was
night.
a huge surprise for many who were surprised about his agility,
Yes.
showmanship.
Showmanship.
Were you as surprised as the audience about him?
No, I know what he's capable of doing because I've known him since the days of Byron Lee, and he masters the stage when he walks on the stage. And as you said, showmanship,
Yes.
that is what he has.
But did you know that he was still this good after so many years, Marcia?
I know,
Yes.
yeah.
You
And
know.
even in the rehearsal, he was just so entertaining, you know, everybody enjoyed him.
Yes.
So I know he would go over very well.
What are the feedbacks you're getting?
I have, from morning, I have not slept.
Yes.
The first call came in at 7 something this morning and I'd just gone to sleep. And I've been getting calls like every second about last night's show, performance.
Okay.
And everyone is saying they have never seen anything like this. So I'm saying to them, but that is just a preview of what is to come when I'm going to be performing with 50 artists in my big show, done in decades.
Okay. I thought when you say 50 artists, you were talking about, it's a year-long celebration. So I thought you were talking about over the year.
No,
over the
it's
period of 1 year.
It's
It would be
one,
50 artists.
No, it's one show.
One show that you're going to
And
feature
everyone
50
is going to
friends.
be doing just one song with me, the song that we have recorded. Barry Salmon happens to be one of the few people that I've done quite a few songs with, but so we might do two.
All right, you know, a big question that everyone is asking, Marcia, is about this tremendous journey. 50 years in music. What stands out most of all the many things that would have preserved you over these years?
After doing a long journey as 50 years, a half a century, it's not easy to have a one thing.
Yes.
But the thing that has preserved me, of course we acknowledge that Almighty God has preserved me, that I can see this moment. But the music itself is what heals me, nurtures me, rejuvenates me and my audience. It was not easy, and 9 out of 10 times you just want to give it up and quit. But your audience and your friends, the love that they give to me, they are the ones who keep motivating me and keep me going.
And keep renewing you.
I just keep rejuvenating from my audience.
So no matter what you do,
no matter
what you're going through, once you step out, once you get behind that microphone and
Oh,
start singing.
that's a different story.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why I endorsed everything by doing I shall sing as long as I live.
Okay.
Because I know that's what I'm here for. I'm on a mission, and that's my purpose, my responsibility to communicate to the world through the medium of the music to teach, educate, and uplift people.
I think they want to get a little more personal with you now, Marcia, because they want to ask you about exercise and diet and so on when they talk about preservation. What can you tell us about that?
That's the number one thing. I was just listening to the radio, and Dr. Samaj was saying that people dig their graves with their teeth. So, ever since from years ago, I realized that you are what you eat.
Yes.
Food is the thing that poisons people's body and give people every disease you can think of. And it's the same food that they use to heal and to cure everything.
Okay.
So even before I get to this age, I realized how important eating was. What you put in, you're what you eat. So at my age today, I am very peculiar in how I eat, and exercise, of course, is, you know, not
it's a
to make
routine, it's a daily routine.
It's a routine.
Yes.
So I do my best and make sure what I put into my structure.
How do you keep the mind, apart from the music and the audience, is there anything else you do spiritually that keep the mind focused and relaxed and calm?
Pleasant thoughts, because no matter what you eat, if your thoughts are not clean, then your body is still corrupted. I have watched so many of my colleagues in this business that was poisoned, their body was poisoned by bitterness.
Yes.
And that bitterness that they keep holding inside of them poisons their body. I can sit here and name so many of them, and they are not here with us today. So I don't want to get caught in that, you know. So it's good to have clean thoughts,
Okay.
you know, to think, uplift your brother and your sisters.
And speaking of clean, positive thoughts, you're quoted as saying recently that you're ashamed of what women did, some women did at stage.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that for me a little bit?
Well, as a role model, I see myself as a role model, and I'm very proud when I hear all these female singers mention in their interviews that I have been their inspiration and their role model. So I figured over the years that I was doing something good, something positive that people can emulate.
Yes.
And I know who I am, and I acknowledge that I don't make effort to be who I am and to try to do the things that are right. So I was very disappointed, because all of these sisters are sisters that I love, and I communicate with them, maybe not on a daily basis, but I truly love them.
Yes.
Lady Saw is another, you know, close person to me. Maka, every one of them, I love them. And I think they are very talented. So I was very disappointed to know that they could allow anyone to bring them to that level, or anything, or any situation, or any condition, because people live for people.
Yes.
We eat for people, we dress for people, we do everything for people. The moment you start being yourself and lock out people, the first thing people are going to say, oh, she gone crazy or he's crazy, because you start living for yourself. When the audience is gone and you're by yourself, I'm sure when you think within yourself, you feel bad and you're sorry about everything. So you have to try and throw your mind past a lot of these things. That is why the wise man is the wise man, because he can go past the present moment and think before he speaks or acts. And this is what I'd like my sisters to develop and be aware of. Stop and think before you speak and act.
All right, Marcia, valuable advice. All right, going back to the celebration, it's a year long, as we mentioned earlier on. What's the next stop?
We are having a launch in Easter. That is when I actually celebrate the 50.
Yes.
Because I walked on stage Easter Monday morning with Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. So we're going to be having a launch, and everyone will know what the plans are, where the show is going to be held.
Okay.
This big show that is going to be done in the decades. And anyone who is missing, like a Bob Marley and a Free Eye, we have their sons representing them to do the song that we did.
If last night is anything to go by, and what we saw in Argentina
Wow.
with you and Judy,
Yes.
is anything to go by. Wow.
I was really so happy to have Sister Judy beside me last night.
Oh yes, I could see that.
Because that part of my journey is very special for me.
Yes.
You know, that was one of my highlights on my journey. Because the journey, as I said, it was long, turbulence, a lot of potholes, but it takes sunshine and rain to bring about a rainbow. So we have to embrace the good and the bad. So I don't have no regrets of my journey.
Oh,
absolutely
not. Our queen, it's so nice for you to sit with us this day after such a great night at the Jazz and Blues. Marcia Griffiths, we'll be tracking you. And we'll tell your fans to watch us.
Yes.
To know how the celebration will unfold and when and where.
This is something that no one cannot afford to miss because the world has never seen anything like this. Because we have the different musicians, different bands in every different decade.
All right.
And you know, the artists that I've worked with in that particular decade will be working with me. It's going to be different.
All right, there you have it, our treasured queen of reggae, Marcia Griffiths, right here on stage. Stay with us because we understand that the Dr. Beanie Man, Moses Davis, whatever you want to call him, is hanging out somewhere in this Royalton Hotel, and we will be trying to have him right here on stage in our next segment. And still to come, our coverage of night number 2. We'll be back.
Miss World, we are the formula. This is like a big with your brother with the sunshine. I want to entertain your thoughts with the right. And make a meditate your heart with the right. So me say, yeah, because the top I want to make you. Woman, they can't take a number before the release. Woman, they want